Yeah, good afternoon, everyone, and yeah, thanks for the invite. So, yeah, right now we will just go through some of the interesting discussions and also thoughts at the AltLayer side. So, a little bit background for AltLayer. So, basically, we are launching a bunch of these Restaking rollups by leveraging Eigen's sort of shared security to do decentralized verification, fast finality, and decentralized sequencing. We've been launching a few like sort of AVS around Eigen, and yeah, for the past 2 years, we've done a lot of the research and also development around this restaking ecosystem. And today, I will just share a little bit these thoughts we have on this dual staking or these multi-token staking networks, and also some of the pros and cons and the learnings we have. Yeah, before we go into this dual staking or multi-token staking protocols, right? So right now we know the biggest or the largest proof of staking network is Ethereum. And for single token staking, we can always refer to Ethereum staking as like sort of the example. So typically as a user, we can always stake like 32 ETH and delegate to one of the validators in the network. And then the validator will do various jobs, either for the consensus and also the execution. They perform these sort of the tasks and then earn some staking rewards. And out of the staking rewards, the majority of them will be shared and get back to the delegators and the stakers. And when we do this single token staking, right, we can always say that, okay, for most of the time, when we stake on Lido, right, we can always see, okay, there are 3% of the yield or the reward. Probably it's 100% secure, right, because it's a big name in the space for a long time. However, as we know, if some of us really carefully look at the monthly updates or progress report from the Lido, like periodically the got slashed for some of their validators, but for most of the time they were just covered by their treasury. But still, we can see there's a risk when we do staking, even for this most comprehensive staking protocol in the world. So if there's something wrong, for example, double standing, whatever, immediately there will be 1 ETH out of the 32 ETH slashed as the penalty. And granularly, as you can see, right, we as the stakers and also these validators, we have the potential of risking all the 32 ETH if like basically after the first day and after that, if the validator still couldn't figure out ways to fix the issue. So that's sort of this single token staking protocol. As you can see, right, Ethereum has been there around this decade, and even this POS like just started after this POW like 1 or 2 years ago, but still that's the most comprehensive network we have. And even for this network, we run the validators for a long time. There are a lot of like sort of tools that help us to avoid this slashing, and also a bunch of these mechanisms help us to protect our stakes. But still, as you can see, right, there's a risk we can lose all our stakes. And as we can see right now, we have this EigenLayer, a bunch of the other restaking platforms. Now we can move from this single token staking to multi-token staking protocols. So very soon, like Eigen will allow people to basically stake multiple like ERC20 tokens. So in that case, as we can see, right, we will have probably Ether and Eigen and our own protocol token, right, to do the staking. But at the same time, as you can see, right, it will definitely complicate the whole thing. As Tarun mentioned, there are various attacks on the multi-token staking protocols. And roughly, as you can see, right, if you are familiar with this Eigen ecosystem, so basically the users or stakers can delegate their tokens. Right now it's Ether Eigen token, but soon there will be some ERC20 tokens. You can delegate to the operators, and these operators will run the software of AVS. So the cool thing about this, as we can see, right, definitely we provide more utility for the protocol token. Especially like we are launching these rollups, right? For most of the rollup token right now, they are governance tokens like OP Arbitrum. They don't really have a specific like sort of utility. But right now with this multi-token staking protocol, at least we can have this actual staking utility for these protocols. And beyond that, as you can see, right, they also provide some extra like channels for the token to earn some extra use. And meanwhile, as you can see, right, there's a little bit diversified compared to we just leverage Ether as the shared security. Now we can have multiple tokens, probably like USDC, WBTC, and the protocol token itself. And as I just mentioned, right, Ethereum is already being the biggest like sort of proof of stake network there for a long time, and it relatively mature for a lot of tools to be used to prevent this slashing for the operators and also stakers. However, for these multi-token staking protocols, like especially the AVS, we are launching, or a bunch of the audience launching about this AVS, right? Most of the software are super new. We work closely with the operators, and a lot of operators, they don't really have a separate audit or security team to really read through all the source code. And for most of the time, they just blindly launch the Docker image or whatever you give to them. So in that case, right, as I just mentioned, for most of the time, at least at this stage, pre-slashing on EigenLayer, so a lot of these operators, they don't have proper tools and also mechanisms to basically place some anti-slashing mechanisms on these running this AVS code. And beyond that, as just Tarun mentioned, right, the whole landscape of multi-token staking protocol is completely different compared to a single token staking. There's a lot of like sort of moving components for this protocol, and at the same time, as you can see, right, it would be great, like we can really have something to quantify the risks, at the same time also the benefits we can bring from this multi-staking protocol. And it's no longer something we discussed like 1 or 2 years ago. Everything is still in research. We only have POC or we only have testnet. Right now, at least for like sort of the AVS or the recent rollups we launch, it's already in action. And a lot of the rollups, they are either OP Superchain or Arbitrum Orbit. It's in action. So you can literally do this dual staking or multi-staking for either for the recent rollup we launch or on the different AVS, as I just mentioned, right? And it's already in action and covers multiple categories. It's not just for general purpose L2s. You can also do it for like sort of gaming L2, social L2, DeFi L2, and sometimes like yesterday we just launched another recent rollup for this DP network. And beyond that, we already started to leverage these pure Ether staked that sort of assets to secure these AVS as for decentralized verification and also faster finality. But the cool thing, as I just mentioned, right, there are definitely some pros and cons, and basically for the multi-token staking protocols. And what I just mentioned probably more on this risk side and also the benefits you can get from these multi-token staking protocols, like more utility for your token, and at the same time, like basically you can have more channels to use your token, right? Beyond that, I also want to mention about something from the demand side or the protocols we help them to launch, and also the discussion we had with them. Once you have some token for your protocol, a lot of this analysis won't hold if it's a multi-token staking protocol. For example, once you have a token, right, there are always volatility for the token. Like we know, right, for the past 2 months, the whole like sort of crypto market changed a lot, and the price like tanked a lot. And then sometimes when we have a token, you can see yesterday probably it's $1,000, but today probably just half. And beyond that, there are also some considerations around liquidity. Even for some token, right, the price is very high, but at the same time, if you look at either the centralized exchange or decentralized exchange, the spread is very thin. And it doesn't have enough liquidity to handle this liquidation from the slashing. So in that case, how we quantify the security for these multi-token staking protocols is sort of like quite troublesome. And beyond that, as I just mentioned, right, Ether, we still have this volatility, and our ERC20 tokens probably have much higher this kind of volatility and liquidity compared to Ethereum is much lower. And then do we think USDC is the best one? There's almost no sort of volatility, and at the same time, it's quite stable, and you have enough liquidity in the market, no matter in centralized exchange or decentralized exchange. But actually, it's not the case for most of the AVS, right? If we look at the current sort of restaking protocols, platforms, and also the AVS projects, no one's using USDC as the sort of the asset to secure their sort of AVS. That's something we probably can debate after this talk, but in general, as we can see, right, typically when we want to leverage the restaking platform, one thing definitely we want to borrow the security from Ethereum or some very sort of decent and the top crypto asset. But at the same time, we're also thinking about is it possible to let our token to be part of this protocol, and then we can create more utility and demand for our own token. And based on a lot of these discussions previously on research, and also after we launched Midnight for some protocols, and we really had a lot of the experience and the learnings from it. For example, even we can see right now for AVS, as I just showed you, right, we always say okay, our AVS have 2 billion sort of TVL to secure the sort of this protocol, and some other sort of AVS say we have 5 billion, and probably another restaking protocol saying that we have over 10 billion. But that they really mean that you have that amount of security can guarantee your protocol's correctness? Yeah, based on a lot of this discussion, we feel that in the end, it's really depending on sort of the TVL you can slash. Any TVL, if you can't touch or you can't slash via your AVS, basically it's not the security can guarantee sort of your protocol's correctness. For example, even we have sort of this 5 billion right TVL to secure multiple another 10 AVS, can you see this each AVS really has 5 billion sort of TVL security? I don't think so. So one way we can calculate probably evenly, once we have the slashing mechanism, evenly out of these 10 AVS, each AVS probably just share 10% of the TVL, right? But at the same time, we know that even we share the 10%, but we don't have this power to slash all of them. Later, Eigen or the other restaking protocol, they may also be very so cautious about the slashing. They may just say, okay, at the beginning, probably you can only slash 50 BPS of the total TVL. So in that case, what's the slashable TVL really basically decides the security you can get. So that's why, so based on our sort of a conversation and also research, we feel slashable TVL is really sort of the security you can achieve for the AVS. And when we say this is slashable TVL, and we also need to consider the sort of the parameters or factors I just mentioned, right? Here's the type. It should be volatility, discount, and also multiply with the liquidity multiplier. So that means it's not just about your own slash sort of TVL. We know these tokens is no matter it's Ether or your own ERC20 tokens, there's a volatility can be big. And if it's big, we have to apply a factor or parameter there to make sure okay, it's not just always today we have a number, but tomorrow definitely another number. We need to apply some discount for that. And if the liquidity or the spread is very thin on centralized exchange or decentralized exchange, we should really apply another huge discount on it. So in the end, it will be something here we are not as sort of as complex as sort of Tarun's slides, but here is just a very simple formula. But we believe it can at least reflect some of the thoughts we have in the current sort of AVS design regarding the security part. And if we only look at the simplest example for this multi-token staking protocol, right? We can say it's a dual staking, basically the AVS token itself and also the ETH. So in that case, sort of we need to accumulate this slashable TVL together. So right now, if we look at Eigen, right, we have these Ethers sort of security, the TVL, but soon once we have the sort of flexibility to add our ERC20 into it, then you can see it will be a combination of the security we can get on this. And beyond that, right, we all know, like, as a protocol, most of the time we can say, okay, it's part of Eigen ecosystem or it's part of Ethereum ecosystem. But in the long run, we'll say that, okay, we definitely have our own ecosystem, we have our own product. So what's the sovereignty of your token, or what's the sovereignty of your protocol? It's also a very big thing. Because in the end, as we can see, right, we can't already say like our security always derived from Eigen or from Ethereum. There must be a way to quantify like sort of the how much security we can really get from them. Like what I just mentioned, right? This is the slashable TVL and also the total security we can get. But at the same time, like we can derive some security from them, but at the same time, we also need to know, okay, for our protocol, once we apply our own ERC20 there, so how much sovereignty we can get? Basically, higher sovereignty means like sort of the token, our token's power out of this security guarantee is much higher. But at the same time, as I just showed to you, right, due to this volatility and also liquidity, all these parameters, probably sometimes less sovereignty is better, especially for some DeFi protocols. They may just want this kind of sovereignty as low as possible because they want to make sure they have most of the security from the Ether. And beyond that, we all know that for the protocol itself, sometimes it's not equivalent when we achieve or acquire so much security. But how about the assets on our protocol? A very simple example is sort of the rollups we launch, right? For example, if your rollup, all the assets on your rollup only worth like 50 million US dollars, but in that case, do you need 1 billion TVL to secure it? Probably you don't need, right? So in that case, it's sort of like we need a very high security ratio, but at the same time, it can't be too high. As I just mentioned, right? If the total asset on your protocol is a number, but then the security ratio probably just AA or AAA. You don't need like 100 times of that kind of security. So because like you need to pay something for this security, as Tara mentioned, right? There's various ways to do this calculation for the security you need to pay for. But at the same time, we believe that if the total value at risk, like 50 million, right? If your security guarantee is lower than that, that's also some problem why we choose to use Eigen or the restaking problem. Because for the past few years, we saw so many protocols, they launched the L1, but the total asset of their own token, the total value probably just less than 10 million. But the USDC and some other tokens on the protocol is over like 50 million. So in that case, it's always like it opens a huge like sort of attacking vector for the attackers to control your protocol and just extract as much value as possible. So in that case, like we really need to consider this security ratio. Like if the total value on your protocol is very big, then definitely you need to acquire enough security to cover it. Yeah, these are all these sort of learnings, research, and also thoughts we have for the past 2 years. As we can see, right, this the dual staking or the multi-token staking protocol is still early. And even we know Eigen is on mainnet, soon they will add this ERC20 and some other tokens into their quorum. And we also launched a bunch of these research rollouts to engage with this multi-token staking protocol. But there's so many uncertainties about these protocols because like right now, I believe we barely know like how to really analyze these kind of slashing conditions for Ethereum and provide the tools to minimize like sort of the slashings. And now we introduce a much like sort of a bigger space of all the like different factors into this multi-token staking protocol space. We have this restaking platform, we have LRT, we have AVS, and at the same time, I just mentioned, right, there are a lot of other factors on the token itself which can also affect like how we design and how we position this multi-token staking protocol and also this token economics. There's some other open questions I briefly put here and happy to discuss with you guys. Like one night, do you think the network that don't allow slashing will be secure or not secure? if we have ZK proof, right, and don't have the restaking, do you think it's good or not? And at the same time, if the whole protocol got slashed, do you think it's a good choice, or we should really minimize like sort of the slashing mechanism or also the slashing condition in different like sort of scenarios in the protocol? But in general, as I mentioned, right, it's just the beginning. We believe we will see more and more this dual staking or multi-token staking protocols in the future. And we are always happy to have all the conversations with the audience here, and yeah, hope to build some amazing this multi-token staking protocol future together with all you guys. Thank you.